This is Dottie Howe, the Communications Director at the Ohio Health Information Partnership, which manages the CliniSync Health Information Exchange. And as a CliniSync participant, you're being asked to watch a series of videos on the community health record. Today you will view this security and privacy PowerPoint to reinforce the importance of safeguarding your patient's protected health information. I'd like to introduce you to Joseph Jones, General Counsel and Privacy Officer for the Ohio Health Information Partnership. Joe?
Hi Dottie, thanks, and thank you and welcome to everybody joining today via the internet or at your desk watching this. Today we're going to talk about security and privacy, and we're going to go ahead and talk about security first. So the CliniSync security requirements. As a participant of CliniSync, you need to be both HIPAA and HITECH compliant. And I know Dottie gets this question a lot, and I get it a lot. And how do you become compliant in HIPAA or HITECH? And essentially, becoming compliant in one will get you compliant with both. But I would also advise you to check with your local legal counsel to ensure that you're doing everything according to federal and state law. But the gist of it is becoming HIPAA compliant means you are adhering to the privacy rule, the security rule, the enforcement rule, and the breach notification rule. And to get a little bit deeper into that, some of the security rule requires appropriate administrative, physical, and technical safeguards. Those administrative safeguards are having a proper security management process, assigned security responsibility, workforce security, information access management, security awareness training, security incident procedures, a contingency plan, evaluation, and then also having those business associate contracts in place. The physical safeguards are, and again, this is probably going to be more about protecting the actual building, servers, etc. It's facility access controls, workstation use, workstation security, device and media controls, and finally the technical safeguards are the access controls, the audit controls, integrity of the person or entity authentication, and then again transmission security. And again, wrap that all in, with your other vendors in your business associate. We'll move on to the next slide. So the physical environment, again, this is the physical safeguard that you want to maintain a secure environment so that no one can just walk in and access a computer, access a workstation, access your server, or do anything like that. Some of these security controls are, you need to have these security controls to protect your data from viruses, worms, unauthorized cookies, Trojans, malicious software, malware. One thing I will note is that nowadays with the phishing scams, you just want to make sure that if you get an email that seems weird, out of place, or it's coming from somebody that, maybe they are faking an email from a CEO or a vendor or somewhere, always just double check and make sure, especially if they're asking for any kind of particular information. You just want to make sure that you're looking at that with a keen eye so that you're not actually sending something that's going to then infect you with viruses, Trojan horses, and things of that nature. Now we're moving on to deactivating users, and this is another kind of security protocol because as users come and go, maybe they move into different roles within your organization. If they are provisioned with use, they are going to be able to access all of the data that is housed by CliniSync. So you want to make sure that if they are no longer employed by you or moving into a role where they really don't need to access or it's not a major portion of their job, you deactivate the user so that they are not actually going to commit any kind of HIPAA breach or put you in the realm of having a HIPAA breach happening on your watch. Permitted uses of the community health record, the CliniSync community health record, pretty much any use that is TPO, treatment of your patients, payment for the treatment you provided, or healthcare operations are permitted uses under our policies and procedures, as well as federal and state law regarding protected health information. So if you strictly limit that use to that, you should be good. But again, I always advise you to check with your legal counsel to make sure anything you're using protected health information for, that it falls within those guidelines. Expressly prohibited uses. Now this is going to be looking yourself up, looking up friends, using the access that you have to gain information, the protected health information, for a non-work related purpose. If you're using that just to spy on somebody, or if a lot of times people will see things in the news. Maybe an athlete or a famous person is caught, hurt, injured, whatever. I know George Clooney just got in an accident in Italy, so maybe they want to look up and see what happens and see where they live and things like that. That is expressly prohibited unless you have some reason to be in there. One of the things we do is we can actually conduct audit reports. And so we might run a sample audit report and see what your users are doing, whether they're accessing a patient with the same last name, accessing a user at a facility where you work. If we have pediatric workers and they're accessing someone who's 35, that seems a little odd. Or someone at a general provider's office accessing a patient in the NICU or something like that. These are the types of things that lead to prohibited use and can lead to a HIPAA breach and a violation. And so that's some things you want to watch out for. Reporting a HIPAA incident. So all incidents should be reported to your site administrator or directly to the CliniSync security officer. So if you have an incident, such as if you receive an email with PHI in it, you should go ahead and report that. Again, talk with your legal counsel and make sure you're following your proper procedures and protocols for your potential HIPAA breaches and incidents. But those are the types of things that you want to work for. And if you have any kind of incident with information you access from the CHR, from the Community Health Record, you could also let us know at the following email address, security@ohiponline.org. Now we'll move on to consent notification. So consent is really the patient giving authorization to participate in the health information exchange. In Ohio, we are a default opt-in, so when a patient comes and presents to you, they are automatically defaulted as consenting to participation in the health information exchange. Our notification policy requires that any organization that is enabled for query and retrieve must have a way to alert and notify patients that they are participating in a health information exchange. This can be done by putting this in your notice of privacy practices. I know sometimes that might be a little burdensome, so as long as you have some way to notify them, whether you slip an extra sheet within the packet that you give to them at registration or anything like that, as long as you have some way of alerting them that they may opt out of the health information exchange, that is what we are looking for. And I will caution and again advise to talk with your legal counsel, but restriction and restricting health information and opting out are two different things. And I would advise you to talk to your legal counsel on the differences between restricting health information and opting out of the health information exchange. So a participating organization can execute a patient's decision to opt out. We will train your staff on how to go in and opt out a patient. A patient can also send you or send us a form alerting us of their decision to opt out and not participate in the health information exchange. So the notification policy. So when is notification, when is notice of participating in the HIE not required? There are certain functions and certain functions by state law that are not considered health information exchange. One of the main things is direct messaging. So provider to provider messaging. So that is not actually considered health information exchange activity in Ohio. So that does not require notice. There are some other things that do not require notice, such as creation of a master patient index and, again, delivery of results or delivery of direct messages. So these are instances that do not require notice and consent from the patient. So here is our notification policy. This is when notice is not required, when you have direct messaging, you have results delivery, or public health reporting. Any other instance is when you would have notice be required, access to the community health record or use of the referral tool. Here's a sample notice of our notice language. So it's alerting the patient that you participate or are participating in one or more health information exchanges, and that this is a voluntary agreement and they may opt out at any time by notifying yourself or us here at the Ohio Health Information Partnership. Again, some more sample opt-out language. Hospitals may opt out at any time by notifying the Health Information Management Services Medical Records Department, or all other organizations may opt out at any time by notifying the office administrator. Either way you want to do it, it's fine as long as either you do it internally or let us know. So again, I would caution you and advise you to speak with your legal counsel on what we have discussed today. If you have any questions, you can always feel free to contact us, but also ask your attorney or your legal counsel for anything that we talked about related to security and privacy. Now for a little quiz. Consent and security quiz. Here we go. Are you allowed to look up information about yourself in the community health record? No. You cannot look up information about anyone unless you have a treatment relationship with them, even yourself. And it would be kind of hard to treat yourself. Is there a record of every action you take while logged into the CliniSync HIE? Yes. CliniSync monitors and audits access to the CHR, and we run reports to look for irregular patterns and inappropriate access. Are you allowed to look up information about coworkers in the community health record? No. This goes back to looking up information about yourself. I would caution that if you are treating your coworker, that's a different instance. But again, just to look it up for fun, you are not permitted to do so. What has to be in place before you go live on the community health record? And that is the notice that you are participating in the HIE and allowing your patients the option of opting out. Can you share your CliniSync password? No. You should never share a password to an application that contains PHI. Finally, can you access CliniSync from a device that is not secure and not connected to a secure environment? Again, the answer is no. Please do not access CliniSync, the CHR, from Starbucks or any place where you're accessing that record via public internet. We would prefer you access these at work or over secure VPN so that we can all maintain and protect the information that we are securing. Thank you. If you have any questions, feel free to contact us.
Thank you for watching today's video. We really look forward to working with you, and please contact us if you have any questions. Thanks.
Thanks.